Yeah, good evening. This is Hamiisi again. As I told you that we shall be learning on goat farming live on Saturday evening. Again, we are here. Today, we are going to talk about at least many things, but actually, one of them is how you can utilize a small land to do goat farming. Many of us, we might not be able to have many acres of land, but we would like to be in goat farming as a business. So today, I think as you write your questions, the reason why I'm doing a live show is because I want to answer many of your questions. I want to answer many of your questions live because I know most of you people, you do not get a chance of getting me online to have a proper discussion. But I think today you have me live, and every Saturday I think we shall be having a live chat together as we do right discussion. In many topics I've handled, in many topics I've talked about, um, you can ask and I can answer. As I told you that goats are in my head. Whatever you ask me about goats, I think I'm sure I can give you an answer there and then. I don't need to go and open up a book. I don't need to go and do anything. So today I would like to help. I told you in this live show, I was trying to tell you how we can go about goat farming. What do we need to know in goat farming? Uh, I told you about the basics that we really need in goat farming, and right now I'm handling how to start a goat farming from a small land. Again, talking about goat farming uh, as in a business. Goats is one of the enterprises that we've been neglecting, but it's one of the enterprises that pays a lot of money. Me, I'm always challenged with many orders that comes on my desk, and people want me to supply them, of which I cannot afford alone. I told you earlier that many people have been doing goat farming in the country, not in only Uganda, but many other countries. But because they did not leave what they call the traces. How do we leave the traces is by teaching more other people. So if you teach more other people, that means you are leaving the traces or the roots, whereby even if you're existing or you're not existing, some other people can be existing. That is what I'm fighting for. I want, as me, Hamiisi, to leave the legacy for other people that I really created more other people. The reason why I select to do goat farming is because it is a project that might not need me alone to come and buy your animals. But many people want the animals, many people are following the animals, many people. It is a project that can stand on its own. Why can it stand on its own? It's because when you make feeds, your work is to supply to them. These other animals, like piggery, like poultry, they will need you to buy some stuff that you're going to use in making of their feeds, and you also follow the rations. And this project itself, as long as you buy the animals and you have made the grass, let's say silage or hay, you don't need anything. What you need only to do is your work to be available and start doing the job of feeding the animals. So today, as I'm going to watch your comments, as I'm going to watch your questions, um, I think I'm going to talk about how to utilize a small land. The reason why I'm doing this is because many, I'm a youth, and many youth are there out there. They really need to know how they can approach this kind of project. It's very hard for the youth to have a square mile of land unless it is for his father or some other relatives. But we can afford to buy at least an acre. So I want to teach you how you can use an acre at least to cater for over 50 or 100 goats. I told you me what I teach you, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to teach you how I used an acre to cater for 50 goats and above. So before I start that, let me see. There is some questions here. People are trying to at least pause and show me. Let me try to read them shortly. Um, there is Steve Chiimba, Larry. Thank you for appreciating the job. Uh, yes, Steve Chiimba. Yeah, so Chiimba, you can buy 1 or 2 goats. There is no need problem. You know the good project, the good thing with this goats project is you can start with any number. Sorry. You can start with any number. You don't have a specific number that you can start with. I told you in this project, the poor can do, the rich can as well do. But as well, whatever you do with this project, you're helping the other. You get it? So we need all of you on board, even if you buy one. You know, there is an addiction I met in farming projects. It's an addiction. There is a disease called addiction. So when you start to see the animals, every animal belongs to you whenever you find it. You really love the animals. You really need to have many. You might start with one and one leads you to the other. So if you start, just know you're not going to stop there. So I think let me move forward by starting. Yeah, if you invite me to Liberia, I can see I'll come. I have no any problem with that. Okay, now I have seen all of that. Richard, I'm seeing you. NASA, I can see all your questions. Irrigation of crops, that is very possible. So now I think as you're posting your questions there, let me teach you something that you need in your life that you need to utilize. And then finally, I'll go through your comments, your messages, and everything. Um, First and foremost, this is what you're supposed to know. This is what you need to know. If you have an acre of land, an acre, let's say we are utilizing an acre full for grass and accommodation. The space where these animals can stay, it shouldn't have to be so big. It's supposed to be a small place. Like let's say 100 by 50, that plot can accommodate up to 400 goats in that same area. 100 feet by 100 by 50 feet. It can accommodate up to 400 goats. They only need to have the partition of the house, of which a house is supposed to have. These are the partitions that you really need to have in your house. You need to have a kid's pen, which is always 100 by 100. Sorry, 10 by 10 feet. If you're looking at a number of mother being with 200, so that means we can have over 50 or 100 kids in this section of 10 feet by 10, because we only keep them there in the night. So another portion of the goat's house, you're looking at the exercising yard. The exercising yard should be the biggest portion because that's where they spend most of their time. And the shelter should be the smallest because they can only be in that section when it rains. And then some other section called the spraying yard. That spraying yard is really also very important because I told you the basics that we are supposed to do as farmers that we shouldn't forget. Let me remind you a little. I told you we have to spray every week. We have to deworm every after 3 months. We have to vaccinate every after 6 months with 5 vaccines. I told you the vaccines. We talked about pox, we talked about brucella, we talked about CCPP, we talked about PPR. So now let me go back to the point of today, is how I can utilize that space. So I told you, if you have an acre and you have a side 50 by 100 where you're going to keep your animals on zero grazing, then the biggest area is supposed to be an exercising area and the shelter. So the biggest portion of the acre is planting of your grasses. So if you have an acre of land, just get half of it, plant a grass called Chorus Guyana. Then half of it, plant the grass called maize, whichever maize you plant. The reason why we want maize, it has a very big outturn. And that means if you plant half an acre, you can get around 8 tons of the whole meal. I will, if you go on my YouTube channel, you'll be able to see how exactly we make silage, or we make that silage out of maize. So if you divide and half an acre is maize, you can be able to get over 8 tons. Remember, I told you an animal can only eat 2 kilos per day. So that means those 8 tons can keep those animals, 100 animals or 50 animals, up to maybe 6 months. Because if you have 8 tons, if an animal is eating 2 kilos, no, let's just do 8 tons divided by, let's say, 100 animals. So each goat will be having 80 kilos. So let's know how many can this goat eat in a month. Because we said if an animal can eat 2 kilos per day, and it has 80 kgs on its table. So that means this time divide by 2. So that is, if you divide by, that is around 40, I think 40 months. Let's say 2 times 30 days, that is 60 kilos. So that means 100, that means 100, or half an acre can feed 100 goats for 60 days. You get it? For the whole month, actually 2 months, possibly. So if we also add on what we call the hay, because an animal per day, it can eat around a quarter or a half of hay. So an animal can eat 2 kilos, 2 kgs of silage if it's only feeding on silage. But if it is feeding on hay and silage, we shall give 1 kilo of silage, and then we give half kilo of hay, because an animal cannot eat too much dry grass as it eats the moist one like silage. So an animal will be eating around 1.5 kilos. And remember, half an acre can produce around 80, because 360 divided by 2, That is 180 bells. 180 bells times 18, 180 bells per half an acre times 18 kilos, because each bell is around 18 kilos. So that is around 3,000 something tons. That is 3,000 kilos you get out of half an acre. So in that case, an acre of land can support up to 100 goats for 6 months. Because if we get hay and we also get silage, that is the mixture of the two, then you add on just molas. So you people who are doing an acre, those people who are having an acre of land and that is your plan, this is what you're supposed to do. Divide it into two, then one portion plant maize and one portion plants Chloris Guyana, because an animal needs two of them, needs hay and it needs silage. So that is a complete thing, because here there is a lot of dry matter and the other one there is a lot of carbohydrates. So what we do when you're planting the two grasses, that is the maize and Chloris Guyana, you also add in other grasses which increase on the which increases on the protein levels, like lucerne. But in this case you have to mix in what they call either desmodium, or you will add in what they call centrosema to increase on the protein content of this meal. Then some other thing on border of that acre, you can put coriander and grisedia. Those are also fodder trees which works as a nitrogen fixing trees. And even this lucerne, centrosema also fixes nitrogen in the soil, which makes the soil to be more fertile. So if we do that in an acre of land, we can do up to 100 goats, hounds of hay, and an animal per day can eat around a half. And then you also have like 8 tons of silage. That means an animal will eat 1 kilo or 1.5. Remember, in our country here in Uganda, the rains are on always. So you can plant today, then after 2.5 months for maize, you can harvest it and replant. And for the chloris, you don't need to replant. After planting and you harvest like in 2 months, you get um, if you plant and you harvest in 2.5 months, then the other times, in the first group, in the first production, if you plant chloris today, it might take 3 months to reach at the maturity, and that's when you can harvest it for the first time. For these other times, you can always harvest every after 1.5 months. I posted that video when I had just cut my chloris, and I posted another video. I think the first video I posted it in October 4th, and then I posted another video on November 4th or 15th there. That means that I cut my grass when it was 1.5 months maximum. So every after 1.5 months, if you utilize your area well, and you put in dung, because if you harvest chloris, you give it to animals, you make hay and give it to animals. The animals, what they do, they convert and takes the muscles out of it, gives you meat, and then you get the residues, which is the dung, the wastes. So you bring the wastes back in the garden. They make the soil fertile, because that is a fertilizer. So the next generation of the grass will be much stronger than what you harvested. So that means with the support of our climate, you can always harvest every after The maize you can harvest every after 2.5 months, and then for the chorus you can always harvest 1.5 months. That means if you add the amount of grasses you harvest every after 1.5 months, you will find that if you're harvesting 3 tons, let's say 3 tons, that is times 1.5, you can harvest around how many times? Because every 1.5 months you can even harvest, I think, let's say like 5 times in a year. So if you're harvesting 5 times in a year, just know 3,000 times 5. So we shall have 15,000 kilos. That is around 15 tons. So if you're doing 15 tons, and in maize you're also getting, I think, okay, let's say maize you can harvest like 3 times. 3 times, that is 8 tons you get per harvest. 8 tons you get per harvest times 3 times, or 4. Let's say 4 times. So that means you'll be getting 32,000 kilos. So in total, if you have 15 tons plus 32, 15 tons of chloris plus the 32,000 tons, that means you'll be having 47,000 kilos. So if an animal is having that kind of kilos, 47,000, divided by the 2 kilos that an animal eats per day, so that means you will have 23,000 kilos per an animal out of an acre, which I think is really not that, yeah, because if it is 47, you do 47,000, sorry, that was a mistake, divide by the number of goats. So each goat will be having 470 kilos of feeds ready to be eaten, or ready to be converted into muscles. So now in that case, if an animal is eating 2 kilos per day, then you will know how many days are there in 470 kilos. So you people, sorry, you people who have 1 acre of land, don't fear to start, but just know how to do it. As long as your acre has water, that is the best that you need to have in that area. So you people, I don't see any reason why we don't do goat farming, why we cannot do goat farming. The simplicity is there, the calculation is there, the information is there. There is nothing you can ask about goat farming and you don't get it on my YouTube. You can always get it. You can always get it on my Facebook. My Facebook is Ham Animals Breeding Farm. And the YouTube is Hamiisi Semanda Goat Farming. You get it? Yeah. My WhatsApp number is on. If you send me a message and I don't reply, please just know I'm really very busy. I'm repeating, what you only need to know: on an acre of land, you need planting of the grasses. Don't allow the animals access that. You plant the grass. You get it? So in this calculation we've done today, in reality, an acre in our country, it can support over 100 goats all throughout the year. So that means if an acre is feeding over 100 goats, if you're selling each goat of 1 year, this 100 goats can be supported by 1 acre throughout the year. So if you have 100 goats and they by the time they make a year, you can sell them, let's say 400,000. That means you already have 40 millions. But how many people are utilizing an acre to make 40 millions? I think it's almost impossible. You can use the same 1 acre, and then that 1 acre can help you buy more other areas. So I think that is the simplicity I can give you. I told you we can plant Chloris Guyana, we can plant the maize. So in maize, we make silage, of which I haven't been able to carry it up here with you, but it's on my YouTube. You go on YouTube and ask for silage making by Hamiisi. You will see how we make silage. And you also go and ask how to make hay by Hamiisi. Again, on YouTube, you'll be able to view those videos and storages. So there is any reason why we don't do good farming, because goat is one of the meats. The goat meat is one of the meat that people really enjoy so much. So like for us, what we have to do is to make sure we do more goats as possible, because many countries cannot have a chance of doing goat farming, but for us we have. Not only Uganda, but all other countries that have this good climate, we can do more goats. It's not like, the reason why I love goats is that goat farming is not like these other projects you see, like maybe tomatoes, maybe passion fruits, because when you get stranded, you have no guarantee over money. So you might start a project and you think you can run it. Then what happens? You get stranded on the way. So when you get stranded on the way, the project is going to get stuck and no one can pay you. Let's say you're doing passion fruits and you get stranded on the way when you have not even finished, or it has not even brought the fruits and it's ready to be sold. No one can buy it, or if one wants to buy it, it can buy it from you cheaply. You get it? Because he knows that you're stranded. But you can never be stranded with animals. If you're stranded now, you can just make a call, even if they buy you cheaper, but still you can sell it. So I always say goat farming is an ATM for the farmers. Let you be rich, let you be poor. Even if you start with 1, is better than 0. So that is the reason why I emphasize you people, we should do goat farming, because we can sell it anywhere. We can sell it at any given time. So now let me read your comments, your questions. Then I try to see how I can answer all your questions. Yeah, so let me go up here, and then I can read your comments and answer. Those who are saying they want to invite me in their countries, yeah, of course I will come. Me, I'm willing to help anybody that is ready to do goat farming. Press Hamza. Yeah, you people, if you want to start, you better start. Better start. Richard, the land in Mubende, I don't think whether it's too expensive, but I think an acre you can hire it at 150,000 Ugandan shillings. So you can do it. Irrigation, you can do, there is a gun, there is called the rain gun. If you want to do the irrigation, there is a rain gun. So you just put it to the source of the water and then you do the irrigation. So that is very simple. You can irrigate it, and actually you can keep harvesting every after 1.5 months. As in stealing, for sure, let me tell you an answer. Most of the investigations that people do when animals are stolen, they are always conniving with your workers. So what you do, me, what I did is to make my workers part of me. We are friends, because I don't see any reason why I have to respect an askari that is really keeping my car. There is no any reason why I have to treasure a car and make it for it a garage, then put on the padlocks. Then when a car is only 50 or 150 millions or 200 million, and then I leave an animal, which is animals actually, which are worth 1 billion, and I don't respect those people that are staying with my animals. You people learn how to respect the workers, learn how to befriend them, learn how to love them. You will never have theft at your farm. Me, I've not gotten those issues, though you will get some people that are really not good sometimes, those people that are not always committed or so in actual sense. Theft starts with your workers. Respect them, love them, show them the future of the project, show them that really good farming is good for you and them. Please. So that's the only way. That's the first way you can do. Francis. Foot and mouth disease. It's just a vaccine. You know, I always tell you that vaccination is one of the best things or one of the basics that you have to do. We don't have to wait for our animals to get sick. Get the money and vaccinate all the diseases. FMD is deadly, and if you vaccinate it, you will never get it. So those diseases, me, I think that always come as a result of no, those diseases, those epidemics that come to our ranches, to our farms, we can simply vaccinate and we shall never see that again. So me, in my talking, I don't even discuss about those vaccinatable diseases, because if that disease comes, it's because of your negligence. You're leaving your animals to stay without being vaccinated. That is completely crazy. So make sure you vaccinate all the vaccinatable diseases and you let it be something simple. Those abscesses, those are common simple diseases, or which comes as a result of bacteria. You squeeze it out, then clean it. Those are very simple cases to handle. Botswana lab is really very good. It's rich in protein. It's really very good. It's one of the legumes that you would really need to have, and you plant it in your maize. Yeah, you can use it. It's really very good. And Lucerne is also very good, but make sure you give it in when you have semi-dried them. So don't give them direct, because they can make your animals bloat. Yeah, Lucerne also needs water. That's the truth. Watching from South Africa, watching from Canada. Yeah. Umar, that's very good. You better start. If you started with 10 and 11 rams, that's very good. At the end of the year, you'll be having like around 60 goats down the road. In Ghana, you people in Ghana, actually Ghana and Nigeria, I'm trying to find somebody who can really, I can help to guide, and I can, if we work hand in hand, I can even fly in. Then we establish a breeding center. He can fund it, and I can guide him, and I can help him to get the genetics. Then we also have those animals in your country, because many people really love to start in Ghana. I have many contacts that are yearning to have those animals in Ghana and Nigeria, even Cameroon, Zimbabwe. They all want to start. But I think as we go on, I'll find somebody who is serious, who will definitely help you to start up a breeding farm in that area, and we shall have all the breeds. I think people just need technical guidance, of which I can really help. I can teach them how to do it or how I do it, and then finally we can have the farms that way. So that case, I rest that case and say we can have them. Namibia, yeah, Namibia will have the animals. The breeds, Idris, the breeds, Ahmed, the breeds that you can start with, me, I always recommend the hybrids. Those are the Savannas and even the Boas. Our local breeds are good the way I want. Me, I cannot keep an animal for beyond a year and it cannot make over 30 kilos. Then I say that's a good animal to do. No, me, I'm a business person. I'm looking at how much weight gain that an animal does. So me, I do boas and I do savannas. I'm still doing research on red Kalahari, and then I'll give you the answers. The regret that people wouldn't really do is constructing very expensive houses and then you put in a small stock. So you people, most of the time, you really think about raised houses as the only houses in the country, which is not the case. Me, my goats, they are on ground. They are on ground floor houses and they are really doing well. I think you see them always on the YouTube. So raising a house doesn't make a lot of sense, and most of you raise them and you don't do them right, because if you raise it and then you don't leave the gaps for the dung and urine to go down, so that means you're not doing something right. So please, the regret is poor housing is one of the reasons why people are failing, and then even poor genetics. Somebody is looking at the local breeds and is saying because they are resistant or they are tolerant to diseases, so you can keep them. But how long are you going to keep them? You better get a hybrid and then give it a good treat, and then it attains more weight and then it makes more money in a small time. Because what we are looking at time, investment, and time. Time is really very important in this kind of business. Yeah, patience. Keeping cows and goats it doesn't have any issue. I'm telling you, most of those people who have bigger land or who have ranches, goats are browsers. Browsing means they pick randomly and they always eat shrubs. So cows are grazers. They feed, they are heavy feeders. They feed on everything that you see on this on ground. So goats, if you have a very good ranch, it has the shrubs and it has the grass. If you don't put goats, it's a mistake. You better put the goats to help you harvest the shrubs, and then put the cows to help you graze and harvest the grass. Then you're having the two enterprises on the same land and you're losing nothing. But you people, you go and clear your land and you do what they call carpet bombing. You clear all the shrubs and you only leave the grass. So that means if you put in goats, they will never look good, because goats are not meant to feed from the ground. And two, if they feed from the ground, they get a lot of exposure to diseases, which makes them look funny all the time, getting the diarrhea all the time. If you cleared your land completely and there is no shrubs for those animals to eat, and you even have the goats, make sure that you deworm every after 2 months, because the exposure to worms is too much. You get, because of feeding from the ground. They don't like it, and that will affect them. So you do two enterprises. One will be feeding from the shrubs, and another one will be feeding from the ground. So if you have cows and you don't have goats, you're really messing up. Zero grazing should be chosen by those people who don't have bigger land. But if you have a bigger land, you are on an advantage that you don't need to do zero grazing. You just only need to do good management at home and let the animals go and browse and look for their feed. So your work is only to make sure you manage them well. But if you don't have a bigger land, then do zero grazing, because it can do better. That's what I was trying to explain to you and how you can do it. So I'm reading your comments here. Um, Brandas, the area required for mature goat, as in accommodation, though the answer is not that clear. I don't know, is it for feeding? Is it for staying? You know, those kind of questions. Yeah, the question wasn't so clear, so I needed it more clarified. Um, Now, the CCPP and PPR, this is Fred. Fred, most of the time PPR, it makes an animal to cough. It brings nasal discharge. Sometimes it brings, actually, not sometimes, it brings diarrhea. But with CCPP, an animal can stay with CCPP for some time. It coughs, but it doesn't have diarrhea. It coughs, it has nasal discharge. So when you make that animal exercise, if you suspect CCPP, make that animal run. Then after running, try to block the gut just for a second. Before you even block the gut, you will just hear that animal starts to cough because of the congestion in the lungs. So that is one of the differences. So look at, if there is nasal discharge, if there is cough, if there is thick mucus, and then there is diarrhea, just know that is PPR. For the vaccination, please don't vaccinate them at a go. Vaccinate one and then take at least a month, unless there is an epidemic and both are suspected. So you can vaccinate one today and take 2 weeks and vaccinate another one. So, but don't vaccinate them at a go. It is not really good. So, jumbo gallbladder infection. I don't know, but actually we don't always judge. I cannot tell right now, but most of the time we need to look at the signs of the disease. So those kids died, yes, but what were they showing? Did they have diarrhea? Did they have cough? Did they have what? So you can't rule it out. A vet that is on ground can be able to at least explain to you that. So it's very hard to explain it, if you, unless if you tell me the clinical signs that you see, we can try to find out what could be the disease. Zero grazing, marrow. Zero grazing is when you keep animals in one place and you don't allow them to go and get their own grasses. It's you to put them in a confined area, go and bring the grass for them and then feed them. That is what they call zero grazing. Brenda's, the area you want to do the construction of the house, actually that is a complicated house. I don't know how many animals you're looking at. I don't know which system you're looking at for animals, so I cannot give you an answer as per now. I need to know the number of animals that you're looking at. Ahmed, if you have 100 doors, you need, if you're dealing with savannah, you need 2 males, and then if you're dealing with boas, you might need 3 males in it, because savannas can serve up to 50 females and boas can serve up to 30 or 35. It depends. Yeah, some questions are not really that clear, but I think today we have been able to at least have that chat. And I think I've tried to teach you people how you can do zero grazing. I think next time I'll try to break down the house. After putting you in your head that I need to do goat farming, then the next step is, how do I start? Why do I have to start? I think I've tried to break up all those. And then some other thing I think you need to know is, how do you start? If you have decided to do zero grazing, let's say you have planted your grasses and everything, what next is construction of the house. I think when I come back here next week, I'll be able to discuss about the housing, which kind of house should we have, and how do we need to construct it. I think let me wish you the best. I think that tip will help you out for and I'll be posting you with other videos to make sure that everything is proper. So I think I've tried all my best to reply all the questions. Unless this presses, I don't know what he's saying. Mm. Mites, if mites affect your goats, you go and get the dog shampoo. Dog shampoo will kill all that, but don't use an acaricide because acaricide will not kill the fleas. It will not. So please try your best and get the shampoo, the dog shampoo. Yeah. Thank you very much. I think let me just wish you the best and let me get out of here for a moment. Bye.